Ladies and gentlemen, there will come a day when your excuses won't comfort you, when your comfort zone will suffocate you, and when you'll look in the mirror and realize you're the only one who can't save yourself. That's the moment everything changes. Because when you stop waiting for motivation and start pushing through the pain, through the doubt, through the fear, you awaken a power that nothing and no one can stop. This is not about talent, it's about hunger, it's about fire, it's about pushing yourself until everything becomes possible. And, ladies and gentlemen, there comes a moment in life when you look around and realize that no one is coming to save you. No one is coming to push you, to wake you up, to tell you to keep going when your body aches, when your dreams seem too far away, when your heart feels heavy with doubt. That moment right there is when you must become your own power, because greatness doesn't come from comfort. It comes from pressure, from struggle, from pushing yourself past the edge of what you think is possible and discovering that there's another level within you that you never knew existed. And the truth is, most people stop when they're tired, most people quit when it hurts. But the few, the ones who create something extraordinary with their lives, they keep pushing when the world says enough. They find strength in exhaustion, meaning in the pain, and purpose in the pressure. Because when you decide to push yourself beyond the limits of fear, beyond excuses, beyond temporary discomfort, you begin to realize that the boundaries you thought were real were nothing more than illusions. You built them in your mind, you decided where the line was, and if you built it, you can move it. And every dream, every success, every transformation begins the same way, with someone who refused to stop. Someone who looked in the mirror and said, "I'm not done yet." That's what this life demands of you. Not perfection, not talent, just relentless pursuit. Just the courage to wake up every single day and push a little harder, think a little bigger, believe a little stronger. Because every time you push yourself, you're not just changing your body or your business or your circumstances, you're changing your identity. You're teaching your mind that you are capable of more than it ever believed. And the gap between where you are and where you want to be isn't measured in miles. It's measured in effort. It's measured in how much discomfort you're willing to endure for the sake of your vision. You see, success doesn't respond to wishes, it responds to discipline, it responds to persistence. It responds to those who show up even when it's inconvenient, even when no one is watching, even when the results aren't showing yet. That's where real growth happens, when it's hard, when it's uncertain, when you have every reason to give up but you choose to keep going anyway. And think about it. Every person who's ever done something remarkable had moments when they doubted themselves. Moments when everything seemed to fall apart. Moments when no one believed in them. But instead of folding under the weight of their struggles, they used that pressure to grow stronger. They pushed, they adapted, they broke through, because they understood that growth and comfort cannot coexist. You cannot evolve while holding on to the old version of yourself. You cannot rise while clinging to your limitations. You must let go of who you were to become who you can be. And you have to train your mind the way an athlete trains their body. You have to build endurance for challenges, resilience for setbacks, and hunger for improvement. When your mind screams, "I can't," that's your signal to dig deeper. That's your moment to prove to yourself that you can. Because when you push through the resistance, something shifts inside of you. You begin to see that pain isn't your enemy, it's your teacher. It's showing you where you're weak so you can grow stronger. It's showing you what's possible when you refuse to give in, and there's a fire inside every one of us, a power that's waiting to be unleashed. But that fire doesn't ignite in comfort. It burns brightest in the struggle, in the challenge, in the moments when quitting seems easier than continuing. You have to feed that fire with action, with discipline, with belief. Because once you've tasted progress, once you've seen what happens when you refuse to settle, you can never go back to ordinary. You can never go back to a life of excuses or hesitation, and the secret is simple. Push yourself until everything becomes possible, until the things that once seemed unreachable become normal, until what used to scare you becomes your strength, until your old limits become your new baseline, because the only real limit is the one you accept. If you can push yourself past fear, past fatigue, past self-doubt, you'll discover that what you once thought was impossible was just untested potential. And every breakthrough starts with a decision to stop letting circumstances dictate your destiny, a decision to take control, to raise your standards, to demand more from yourself than anyone else ever could. You can't wait for the right moment, the right resources, or the right conditions. You create them by taking massive action. The difference between those who dream and those who achieve is that achievers act even when it's uncomfortable. They do what needs to be done long after the mood has faded, and you must train your emotions the way you train your muscles. Don't let fear dictate your direction. Don't let frustration make you quit. Channel them, use them, turn them into fuel. The most powerful people on this planet are not the ones who never feel fear. They're the ones who face it head on and move forward anyway. That's power, that's freedom, because once you stop letting fear control you, the world opens up. And when you push yourself, you expand what's possible not just for yourself, but for everyone who sees you. You become proof. You become a living example that transformation is real, that change is achievable, that the impossible can be done. Someone out there is waiting for your courage to inspire theirs. Someone is watching you fight your battles and thinking, if they can do it, so can I. So keep pushing, not just for yourself, but for the countless others who will find their strength in your story. And the pain you feel today will become the pride you feel tomorrow. The moments that break you are the moments that build you. Every drop of sweat, every sleepless night, every setback is shaping you into the kind of person who doesn't just survive but thrives under pressure. You're building a foundation of unshakable belief, brick by brick, through every challenge you overcome. And one day, you'll look back and realize that everything you went through was preparing you for the very thing you were meant to do. And so, don't settle for average when extraordinary is within reach. Don't stop at good enough when greatness is calling your name. Push yourself until your potential becomes your reality. Push until the habits that once felt impossible become effortless. Push until the doors that were once locked swing open. Because the moment you commit fully without hesitation, without excuses, the universe starts to move with you. Opportunities appear, people show up, energy flows, and you are not here to play small. You are not here to exist halfway between who you were and who you could be. You are here to rise, to create, to lead, to live fully. Every step forward is a victory. Every challenge is an invitation to become stronger. Every time you push yourself, you remind the world, and yourself, that there are no limits except the ones you choose to keep. And push yourself until everything is possible, until the person staring back at you in the mirror is unrecognizable from who you once were, until your actions inspire others to believe again, because deep down you already have everything it takes. The strength, the courage, the fire, you just have to push hard enough to set it free, and when that fire starts to burn, you'll notice something incredible happening inside you. The world won't look the same anymore. What once felt impossible will begin to feel inevitable. The challenges that used to intimidate you will start to excite you. Because when you push yourself far enough, you reach a place where you no longer fear the climb. You crave it. You start to see every obstacle as an opportunity to rise higher, every setback as a chance to test the strength of your commitment. You stop wishing life were easier and start demanding that you become better. That's where transformation happens, not in the moments of ease, but in the moments when you're stretched beyond what feels comfortable. And the human spirit is built for expansion. It's built to grow, to overcome, to evolve. You were not created to live an average life. You were designed to push, to stretch, to discover how powerful you can become when you stop letting limitations define you. Every time you push yourself, every time you go beyond what you thought you could do, you rewrite the story of who you are. You're telling your mind, this is who I am now. I am not a quitter. I am not someone who settles. I am the one who keeps going. And the moment you start to see yourself that way, everything begins to shift. And because once you realize your strength, fear starts to lose its grip. You stop running from challenges and you start running toward them. You stop seeing failure as something to avoid and you begin to see it as a teacher. A mirror showing you exactly what needs to change. Every time you fail and get back up, you reinforce the truth that you are unstoppable. The more you push, the more evidence you gather that nothing can hold you back. That's how unshakable confidence is built. Not from success alone, but from surviving the struggle and choosing to rise again. And it's not about being fearless, it's about acting in spite of fear. It's about training your mind to believe that discomfort is not danger, it's growth. You see, your brain wants to protect you, it wants to keep you safe, to keep you comfortable, but safety doesn't lead to greatness. Comfort doesn't lead to transformation. You have to reprogram that instinct when your mind says stop. That's when you lean in. When it says you can't, that's when you say watch me. That's how you take control of your destiny. You push yourself so hard that the old you has no choice but to step aside. And understand this, every level of life demands a new version of you. The person you are today can't handle the dreams you have for tomorrow. You have to grow into them. You have to earn them through sweat, sacrifice, and persistence. Every time you push, you shed a layer of limitation. You discover a stronger, wiser, more capable version of yourself. That's the real reward, not the trophies, not the applause, but the evolution. Because when you push yourself, you don't just reach new heights. You become someone new entirely, and you begin to realize that success is not an event, it's a lifestyle. It's not about one big breakthrough. It's about 1,000 small pushes day after day when no one's watching, when no one's cheering, when it's just you and the grind. The world celebrates results, but the real magic happens in the process. In those quiet, unseen moments when you choose to keep going despite the pain. That's where character is forged. That's where leaders are made, and you have to fall in love with the process of pushing. You have to fall in love with the feeling of progress even when it's slow, even when it's messy, because growth is not a straight line. It's full of twists, turns, and setbacks. But every setback is a setup for a comeback. Every time life knocks you down, it's testing your resolve. It's asking, how badly do you want it? And your answer must always be the same, I'll keep pushing until everything is possible. And when you live with that mindset, nothing can break you. You become a force of nature. You stop being a passenger in your own life and start taking the wheel. You stop asking for permission to succeed. You stop waiting for the perfect moment because you realize that the perfect moment doesn't exist. You create it. You make it real by taking relentless action, by doing what others won't, by pushing yourself even when no one believes you can. And the truth is, most people won't understand your journey. They'll tell you to slow down, to take it easy, to be realistic. But realistic never changed the world. Realistic never built empires, cured diseases, or lifted humanity forward. Every innovation, every revolution, every breakthrough came from someone who refused to accept what was realistic. They pushed themselves until the impossible became possible. That's what you must do, not because it's easy, but because it's worth it. And you will have days when you doubt everything, your goals, your progress, even your purpose. You will have nights when your mind races with questions and fears. That's part of the path. The key is not to let those moments define you. Let them refine you, let them sharpen your hunger, let them remind you why you started, because on the other side of every breakdown is a breakthrough. On the other side of every storm is strength. And when you push yourself, you begin to see that life is not happening to you, it's happening for you. Every challenge, every delay, every rejection is shaping you into the person capable of handling the success you're asking for. You start to understand that struggle is not punishment, it's preparation. And when that realization sinks in, you stop fighting the process. You start embracing it. You start welcoming the pain because you know it's carving you into something extraordinary. And the secret to mastery is repetition. You have to show up again and again, even when you're tired, even when the results aren't immediate. Consistency beats talent every time. Because while talent gives you a head start, discipline keeps you in the race. The ones who win are not always the most gifted, they're the ones who refuse to stop pushing. They're the ones who said, I'll do it again and again and again. That's the mindset that turns potential into power. And when you finally start to see progress, when you begin to realize how far you've come, it fuels you to go even further. You start to crave the challenge, to chase the next mountain, to push the next boundary, because you know now that there are no limits except the ones you accept. Every new goal, every higher standard becomes another chance to prove to yourself that you're capable of more. That's what it means to truly live, to constantly test your edge, to constantly evolve, to never stop pushing. And you'll start to notice that your energy changes, your confidence grows, and your environment shifts. The people around you will feel it. Some will be inspired by it, others will be intimidated, but that's not your concern. Your only focus is growth. You cannot carry everyone to the top, but you can lead by example. You can show them what's possible through your actions. Because your push doesn't just change you. It changes everyone who witnesses it, and there will be moments when your body screams for rest, when your mind begs you to quit. That's when you have to remember why you began. That's when you have to remind yourself that pain is temporary, but pride is forever. That every ounce of effort, every sacrifice, every sleepless night is building a future you'll be proud of. When you push yourself past the limit, you realize that limits were never real to begin with. They were stories you told yourself. And so push until your faith becomes unbreakable. Push until your potential becomes your proof. Push until every part of you believes that nothing is impossible. Because the truth is, the moment you commit fully, the moment you decide there's no turning back, life starts to shift in your favor. You attract opportunities, you draw strength you never knew you had. The world starts responding to your energy, your determination, your hunger. And from that point on, there's no stopping you. Because once you've learned how to push yourself through anything, you become unstoppable, not just in your goals, but in your mindset, in your spirit, in your life. You become the kind of person who doesn't wait for miracles, you create them. You become living proof that everything is possible when you decide it will be. And that's when you begin to understand something profound. The power you've been chasing has always been within you. It was never about becoming someone else. It was about uncovering who you've always been beneath the doubt, the fear, the excuses, and the noise. You begin to see that the walls around you were never built by the world. They were built by your own beliefs. And when you push yourself far enough, those walls start to crack. The old stories you told yourself begin to crumble. You stop saying, I can't, and start saying, I will. You stop waiting for permission and start taking responsibility. Because no one can stop a person who's made the decision to rise. And you see, the human heart has an incredible capacity for resilience. It can be broken 1,000 times and still find a reason to beat stronger. But that strength doesn't come from avoiding pain. It comes from embracing it. It comes from facing the hard truth that growth will demand sacrifice, that transformation will test your will, and that every push forward will require something from you. You'll have to let go of who you were to make room for who you're becoming. That's not weakness, that's rebirth. Every time you push, you're shedding the old version of yourself that once believed it couldn't be done. And you start to realize that success isn't a moment of glory. It's a series of invisible battles. The battle to stay disciplined when it's easier to drift. The battle to stay focused when distractions whisper your name. The battle to believe in yourself when the world doubts you. You win these battles not once, but every single day, because discipline is not an act, it's a habit. Belief is not a feeling, it's a decision, and pushing yourself is not something you do once, it's who you become. And when you live this way, life begins to bend in your favor, not because it gets easier, but because you get stronger. The problems don't disappear, but you develop the power to rise above them. You stop being intimidated by difficulty because you've already faced worse and conquered it. That's what pushing yourself does. It builds evidence within you. Evidence that you can endure, that you can adapt, that you can grow through anything. And once you have that evidence, you become fearless, and every challenge you face becomes an opportunity to expand what's possible. You start saying yes to things that once terrified you. You start stepping into arenas you never thought you belonged in. Because now, instead of thinking, what if I fail, you think, what if I fly, and that shift changes everything. You stop shrinking yourself to fit into the world, and you start expanding yourself to create a new one. You begin to attract people, opportunities, and possibilities that align with your new level of belief. That's the power of pushing yourself. It changes your vibration, and your vibration changes your world. But let's be real. There will be moments when the push feels unbearable, moments when you question whether it's worth it. You'll feel the weight of fatigue, the sting of rejection, the ache of uncertainty. You'll wonder if all this effort will ever lead somewhere meaningful. And in those moments, you must remember that growth is not immediate, it's cumulative. Every small action compounds. Every extra push builds momentum. The results might not show today, but they're being created in the unseen. You are not failing, you are forming. The pain you feel today is the birth of your future strength, and you have to trust the process even when it's silent. You have to keep pushing even when the world gives you no validation, because the reward is not given to those who start strong. It's given to those who refuse to quit. Every time you push yourself past exhaustion, you prove to the universe that you're serious, and the universe responds to conviction. It rewards persistence, it opens doors for those who refuse to stop knocking, and you begin to learn that the push is not about perfection, it's about progress. It's about doing what you can with what you have right where you are. Too many people wait until everything is perfect before they move, but perfection is a lie that kills potential. You don't wait for the right time, you create it. You don't wait for the perfect plan, you act and adjust. Because clarity doesn't come from thinking, it comes from movement. Every step forward reveals the next. That's the power of momentum. It doesn't just move you physically, it transforms you mentally. And when you push yourself consistently, you start to build a reputation with yourself. You begin to trust yourself again. You know that when you say you'll do something, you'll follow through. That's the kind of confidence no one can give you. It's earned. It's built in the dark, one decision at a time. It's built in the moments when you could have quit but didn't. And that trust in yourself becomes the foundation for everything else. Because when you believe in you, nothing external can shake you. And there's a shift that happens when you stop trying to prove people wrong and start proving yourself right. When you stop needing validation and start living from conviction, you realize that your journey was never about competition, it was about creation. You were never meant to follow someone else's path, you were meant to build your own. And you build it through the push, through the discipline, the determination, the daily commitment to keep moving forward even when no one claps for you. And the beautiful part, once you embrace the push, it becomes who you are. You stop waiting for motivation because you've replaced it with momentum. You stop relying on inspiration because you've built discipline. You stop needing the world to believe in you because you've learned to believe in yourself. That's freedom, that's real power, the kind that can't be taken, the kind that can't be faked, the kind that comes from knowing you've earned every inch of your progress. And you begin to attract challenges instead of avoiding them because you know that each one is an invitation to grow stronger. You welcome the pressure because you understand that diamonds are only formed under it. You stop running from resistance and start running toward it, knowing that it's shaping you into someone unrecognizable from who you once were. Every push makes you sharper, every struggle makes you wiser, every setback makes you stronger. And somewhere along the journey, you'll notice that what once felt like sacrifice now feels like purpose. You'll look back and realize that the hard days were the ones that built your foundation. That every sleepless night, every drop of sweat, every moment of doubt was worth it because it made you into the kind of person who doesn't break, who doesn't give up, who doesn't settle. That's the gift of the push. It doesn't just give you results, it gives you resilience. And soon you'll find yourself doing things that once seemed impossible. You'll find yourself walking in rooms you once only dreamed of, leading people who were once ahead of you, achieving goals that once felt out of reach. And in that moment, you'll realize that nothing changed except your level of belief. You'll realize that the impossible was never real. It was just waiting for you to grow into the person who could make it possible. And the truth is, you'll never feel fully ready, you'll never have perfect clarity, you'll never have the ideal conditions. And that's the point. The power lies in pushing forward anyway. The power lies in doing it afraid, doing it unsure, doing it tired. Because that's how you build mental toughness. That's how you create breakthroughs. That's how you separate yourself from the majority who only dream but never act. And as you keep pushing, you begin to live from a place of unstoppable momentum. The voice inside that once whispered, "You can't," and now echoes, "You can and you will." You walk differently. You speak differently. You think differently because now your life is a reflection of your persistence. You've proven to yourself that there's nothing you can't overcome. And that's the beauty of pushing yourself. It doesn't just change what you can do, it changes who you are. It gives you power over your past, mastery over your mind, and control over your future. It's not just about success, it's about awakening. It's about realizing that you are the creator of your reality, and the only limits that exist are the ones you stop challenging. So, when life tests you again, when it pushes back, when it gets hard, push harder. Because every time you do, you move one step closer to becoming unstoppable, and one step closer to making everything you dream of possible. And when you reach that stage where nothing can shake you, something powerful begins to awaken within. You start to live with an energy that others can feel the moment you walk into a room. It's not arrogance, it's certainty. It's not pride, it's power. You know who you are, you know what you've overcome, you know what you're capable of. That's what happens when you've pushed yourself beyond your fears, beyond your excuses, beyond your limits. You stop chasing validation because you've already proven yourself to the only person who truly matters, you. And you begin to realize that the greatest victory is not in reaching the goal, but in becoming the person capable of achieving it. The goal was never the destination, it was the training ground. It was the test that forged your character, discipline, and belief. You start to understand that life isn't about waiting for opportunities to appear. It's about creating them through relentless action. When you push yourself every day, when you decide that there is no plan B, the world starts to bend in your direction. You become magnetic to success not because of luck, but because you've become the kind of person who refuses to settle for anything less than what they're capable of. And there's a shift that happens when you stop seeing life as something that happens to you and start seeing it as something that happens because of you. You begin to see patterns, how your thoughts create your actions, how your actions create your results, and how your results reinforce your identity. You start to understand that every limitation begins in the mind, that the stories you tell yourself shape the boundaries of your life. So, when you push yourself to think bigger, to act bolder, to dream deeper, you're not just changing your circumstances, you're changing the blueprint of your destiny. And it's not just about achieving material success. It's about expanding your spirit, your confidence, your courage. When you push yourself, you awaken a force that starts influencing every area of your life. Your relationships, your career, your health, your happiness. You start attracting people who are also pushing for more, who are growing, evolving, and reaching higher. Because energy attracts energy. You'll find that when you raise your standards, life begins to match them. And there's something special about pushing yourself past what's comfortable. It unlocks your authenticity. When you've been through pain, when you've fallen and risen again, you no longer fear judgment. You stop hiding. You stop pretending. You start showing up as the real you, raw, driven, passionate, alive. You realize that your scars are not something to be ashamed of. They are proof that you fought, that you endured, that you refused to give up. Those scars become your strength, your story, your fuel. And with that strength, you begin to dream bigger than ever before. You start to see possibilities where others see problems. You start to say, why not me? Instead of maybe one day. You stop underestimating yourself because you've already proven that you can survive the storm. You've proven that you can do hard things. And once you know that, once you truly internalize that, there's nothing that can stop you from doing it again. And the truth is, most people never discover how powerful they are because they stop too soon. They get close to the breakthrough and they quit. They stop just before everything was about to shift, but you know better now. You understand that the hardest moments are the ones that matter most. Because it's right there when you feel like you have nothing left that your true strength is revealed. When your back is against the wall, when every part of you wants to give up, that's when you discover the fire that was always inside you. And you have to keep pushing until your mind and body align with your vision. You have to push until effort becomes your default setting. Because once you condition yourself to push no matter what, success becomes inevitable. It's no longer a matter of if, it's only a matter of when. You stop questioning whether it's possible because you've made the decision that it will be. That kind of decision changes everything. It's not just a thought, it's a declaration. It's a signal to your mind, your body, and the universe that you're all in. And once you go all in, the universe responds. Opportunities you couldn't see before begin to reveal themselves. People appear who believe in your mission, paths open that were once hidden. Because when you commit with your whole heart, when you refuse to retreat, life rewards you. It's not coincidence, it's consequence. It's the direct result of your energy, your persistence, your faith. The world mirrors what you put into it, and when you put in everything, you get everything back. And you begin to notice that you don't just survive challenges anymore, you thrive in them. You start craving the next test, the next climb, the next impossible goal. Because now difficulty doesn't scare you, it excites you. It means growth is coming. It means another version of you is about to be born. You no longer run from pain, you use it. You channel it into purpose, into drive, into focus, because you know now that nothing is wasted. Every setback was building you. Every failure was guiding you. Every delay was preparing you, and somewhere in the middle of all that pushing, something shifts. You start to feel unstoppable. Not because life becomes easy, but because you become unbreakable. You start walking with a quiet confidence, knowing that no matter what comes your way, you can handle it. You've built endurance through your struggles, you've built power through your persistence, you've built faith through your fight. And that kind of strength doesn't fade, it compounds, it grows with every challenge you overcome, and you start to realize that pushing yourself is not a punishment, it's a privilege. It means you're alive, that you're still in the game, that you still have more to give. It means there's something inside you worth fighting for. You begin to wake up excited for the day, not because it's easy, but because it's another chance to stretch yourself, to see how far you can go. You stop living in the past or waiting for the future, you start owning the now. Because this moment, this breath, this opportunity to push again is where transformation happens. And the beautiful part, the more you push, the more you inspire others to do the same. You become the proof that it can be done. You become the living reminder that limitations are self-imposed and that possibility is always within reach. You won't need to preach it, your life will demonstrate it. Your energy will say it louder than your words ever could. People will see your journey, your fight, your growth, and something in them will awaken too, because courage is contagious. And the push doesn't just change your results, it changes your legacy. You start living in a way that impacts others long after you're gone. You start leaving behind proof that perseverance is the greatest power a human can possess. You become the example of what's possible when someone decides to never give up, no matter the odds, no matter the pain, no matter how long it takes. And because at the end of it all, it's not about talent, luck, or timing. It's about drive, it's about the refusal to stop. It's about waking up every single day and saying, I will push again. That's how everything becomes possible. That's how the ordinary becomes extraordinary. That's how your life transforms from what it is to what it's meant to be. And you are not here to settle for what's comfortable. You are here to stretch the definition of possible. You are here to test your strength, to find your limits and then destroy them. Every time you push yourself, you send a message to the world that you are alive, that you are powerful, that you are ready. So keep pushing, keep moving, keep believing, because every push is shaping you into the unstoppable force you were always meant to be.